don't play traditional orchestral repertoire. We're not playing Beethoven, we happen to use electronic instruments or anything. We're creating totally new pieces. The real idea of why it's an orchestra is simply that there's a lot of people on stage doing it together. And it's a large group making electronic music with computers. The students in the ensemble are both musicians and programmers. Some of them are basically more musicians. Some of them are really coming from a programmer background. And they're sort of trying their hand at the other side.
It makes you look at music in a different way. When I was first involved in it, honestly, I thought this was like the weirdest thing. This was completely different from music as I knew it before as a classical jazz pianist.
The lines between all of these roles bleeds together so much in a laptop orchestra, between programmer, composer, performer.
So if you tilt it all the way to the right, it's going to get a lot quieter because there's not a lot of sound in the sound palette.
Sometimes I start out with a musical idea and then I go program it. Sometimes I play at my computer and say, what would happen if I make this and this do? What would happen if I, bop my head and use that to control this other thing? And out of that I get an aesthetic idea that becomes part of the composition. We're not going to have laptops that work in exactly the same way in 20 years. So Mozart's music has been able to be played hundreds of years later. We will see big changes in how we play computer music, I think, because the instruments are still in flux.
We all spend tons of time on the computer. I think people just naturally want to make music. And I think it's totally natural to make music with this tool that we use every day.
What we're doing is we're exploring sounds that really cannot be heard in the natural world. Or we are taking natural sounds and changing them in ways that you really can't imagine without hearing it.
We all know in the most general sense what an orchestra sounds like, because a composer hasn't invented every single instrument in the orchestra, whereas here the composer invents every single instrument that's playing, decides every single type of sound.
It's 6 speakers in a hemisphere that radiate sound all over so that people next to them can hear them. The people on stage can tell who's playing what sound based on where the sound's coming from. The audience can have some idea of where the sound's coming from based on where they hear it coming from on stage.